At more than 1,200 locations all across every state in the nation, more than 600,000 protesters took to the streets today for what they're calling their hands-off 2025 rallies. These demonstrations taking aim at the Trump administration, and their goal, protesters say, is to speak out against President Donald Trump's actions concerning the economy, human rights, and downsizing the government. In fact, Houston was among the cities that saw these rallies today, protesters gathering at 3 separate locations, including at Houston City Hall. KPRC2's Joy Addison spoke with protesters at that event. She joins us now live with more on what they're so angry about. Joy.
3 of those protests happened right here in the Houston area. We saw one in Conroe, one in the Woodlands, and more than 5,000 people showed up to one right in front of Houston City Hall. Protesters say today was for opposing policy introduced by President Donald Trump and Elon Musk, who is the current director of the Department of Government Efficiency, or DOGE.
Peace doesn't mean that we don't disrupt things.
Several local Democratic politicians, including Harris County Attorney Christian Menifee and City Council member Abby Kamen, were present as thousands of protesters shouted, "Stop the coup," with signs that read, "Hands off our health care and courts," and "Democracy is not for sale."
I don't want my taxes to go up. I want an end to violence against immigrants and regular people.
Don't hurt our Social Security or our Medicare or our Medicaid or our veterans, the schools.
Libraries. These protests come just days after President Donald Trump announced the U.S. would be applying tariffs on nations that we frequently trade with, causing the Dow Jones to drop about 10% over 2 days.
Our economy sent crashing.
But a Republican analyst who weighs in on the hands-off demonstrations says what we're seeing is not change for the worse. It's reform for the better.
It's clear that reforms and improvements need to be made to not only other aspects of our government and bringing efficiencies into programs and policies, but also to Social Security, Medicare, the border, every single program, Defense Department, CIA, everything.
And though protesters here joined hundreds of thousands nationwide, some say they were also demonstrating for issues right here in Houston. One person calling out Mayor John Whitmire.
He's refusing to listen to residents who say, "Don't waste our money tearing up safe streets." He just tore up Austin Street. He refuses to give in to resident demands. And that's why there's an ongoing campaign to recall the mayor, because he won't listen.
Demonstrators say they will continue to organize until they see effective policy change. There is another hands-off protest addressing health care that's scheduled for May 31st. But the Republican analyst that I spoke with says as we see the effects of these changes to policy, there will no longer be a reason to organize. Reporting from the newsroom, Joy Addison, KPRC 2 News.